it was our objective to have people coming from different backgrounds, from the NGOs, from the civil society, from the press, from the scientific community, from the policymakers, to come together to discuss these issues, these concerns, so that we might understand each other better and start building on common grounds and consensus.
The plastic industry recognizes that we need to get better at listening and discussing the concerns of all stakeholders about our products. It is this very recognition that is behind our decision to hold this conference on such an important issue.
We listen to all of those concerns and suggestions, and we try to respond to them.
So we need to constantly challenge ourselves with different points of view, because that allows us to do things differently.
Let me congratulate the organizers for the pluralism and the pluralistic agenda that is present here in this meeting.
And you always win if you're transparent before someone asks you to be transparent. So there's a real question here and a real challenge for industry about being more transparent.
It was a totally unnecessary risk for human health for a particularly vulnerable group. So one would have thought, well, we better move out of this quickly. No, the industry used the opposite strategy.
I think we all pursue the same principle at the end of the day. We want something which is affected by science-based fact.
I think the insight, the depth and the nuance of the messages that we have been hearing today are of a level of excellence that we haven't had in the past. We are here because safety is important for all of us.
How important is this from your point of view in this very complex process, that the stakeholders, the actors, have more or less confidence in each other?
We found that transparency is a real opportunity for us. Industry can learn from this. To have something hidden is not helpful, it's not transparent.
Science is being used as a trump card in disputes about values, using scientific data to provide answers to fundamentally non-scientific policy questions. What we're dealing with is issues that are not so much about life's quantities as about its qualities. These debates are about aesthetics and moral choices. They're about equity and ethics, as well as about empirical data.
I've never sat in a risk assessment where industry has said, you're absolutely right, my substance is risky. It's always been a case, as Axel has underlined, of industry almost defending the indefensible.
Is being perceived in different ways from different vantage points on the panel, and the science is being interpreted in very different ways. Now, if there is to be, over the next few years, as Jonathan has said, a move toward a better regulatory framework, more impressive governance of this industry, there's got to be some collective agreement.
Yeah, I think this is a really core issue. Professor Aaron Glover, one of the advisors to the European Union on scientific policy, has highlighted the need for ethical guidelines for how science is used, because at the end of the day, there are some real problems sometimes with science.
Because only through greater cooperation between scientists and policymakers can we find more sustainable solutions to risks which are scientifically justifiable to our citizens.
So the best way to combat this fast thinking, these gut feelings, is to use evidence. There are big uncertainties, of course there are, and in science we love uncertainty. But there is also consensus, and we need to talk about that as well. And it helps us to assess the risks and the benefits in order that we might make better decisions.
Providing a platform for different viewpoints was exactly what we were trying to achieve with this conference. And the diversity was of course reflected in the controversial but yet quite constructive discussions we had, because we recognized the value of speaking with different stakeholders, with different interest groups, in order to progress